Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Did you know you can apply to over 50 historically black colleges and universities at the same time for only $20? You can with the Common Black College application. Hello, my name is Robert Mason. I'm the founder of the CBCA. Students around the world have completed the application and received multiple acceptance letters, financial aid packages, and scholarship offers. So visit our website at commonblackcollegeapp.com to apply now. And don't forget to pick up the book, Get Educated, The Man Behind the Common Black College Application. Thank you, and get educated.
You can navigate the legal and emotional journey of divorce and exit a marriage the way you entered it, with mindfulness, love, and respect. Solace Divorce Mediation is a full-service law practice helping couples focus on the health and well-being of children and their forever co-parenting family. Our streamlined divorce journey offers flat fees with an estimated completion time frame of 2 to 4 months. If you or a friend need us, visit solacedivorce.com.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. You walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
Wake up! Thought I was sleeping on the job, didn't you? Tricked you. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm Lauren Michaels Harris. I'm so happy to be here. It is Thursday, the 13th. Aw, it's my sister Cheryl's birthday. Happy birthday, sis. Welcome to today's show. I'm excited to be here. Well, I'm excited it's Thursday. I'm excited it's 13th, but my heart, boom, 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 because, 1 month from today, we will have just come back from our trip to Romania. This time it'll be in the books this time next month. And I'm so excited. Little, I don't want to say scared, little something. You know, it's that thing about the unknown, but it's also the greatest part of co-creating with something greater than yourself. You have to leave some space, you know, you can plan, but you still have to leave space so that you can be bendable to the will of what is greater than us working with us. Because trust me, we don't want to do this alone. Can I get an amen? Welcome to today's installment. Let me get all this up. I've been in a new kind of era. Good morning, you guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What I mean is a new era is, we go through where is my other thing? You know what? Oh, because I have 2 good mornings. Okay, there. Can I get an amen? I thought it was a senior moment. Whew. Those jokers, they come running through my world like, hey, me, see me over here, senior moment. I'm like, you better get the hell out of here. Seriously, I'm not kidding you. I was just telling our guest, here's one of them. I was looking around. I was like, sitting here, I was like, somebody cooking, right? I smell food. And then I was like, and I know I smell some food. I had these in my pocket. I told Leo, I said, pretty soon I'll be like, where are my teeth? Right? No, I hope not. I'm not manifesting that. Anyway, Leo is here. He's here about a year ago, he tells me. Leo Richard. Because I always say Ricard, like Captain Luke Picard. But at least I didn't say Richard. Because I know everybody says his name as Leo Richard is here. Shake your head backstage if that's not the case. Is that the truth? A lot of people say Richard. Wait a minute. I just learned a valuable life lesson. Do not eat a vegetarian sausage with a Hall's cough drop. Oh my God. Okay. So really quickly, because I want to get you guys going today. Share this out right now. Share this out. Let me put that in there so you can remember. With one other person. Now, today we're going to talk about the male, the alpha, the guy, the dude, the bro. We're going to talk about that today. So it's not just for men, but it's for you women who know men, and that's all of you. Going to be something different. I know you've heard a lot of different things, alpha male, embrace your feminine, this and that. You're going to hear something different today. Our guest today has been here before. Before I get started with that, I wanted to go in and remind you guys, we are still fundraising for the Legacy of Hope Tour. There it is on the screen. Headed to Romania, May 4th through the 12th. We are going over there. There's our official t-shirt. Take a look at that. Isn't that great? Look at those hands. And how you too, Leo, look at those hands. I see you doing some kind of side work. Tune in. And you guys, these right here, these flyers are all over all of our social media. That means all of Team USA. And we need your help. Let me tell you something. 100% of my corporate sponsors for this gig, the Power We Symposium, did not do what they usually do. I'm not throwing them under the bus. It's the truth. They did not. They usually buy sponsorship packages, 2,000 here, 5,000 there. This year, they all went to the GoFundMe and just gave 500. It's because I know what it is. It's because we're doing something outside of the United States. I didn't even know that was a thing. But what people don't, they're scared. I think people are a little afraid of what they don't know, or they're hesitant. I don't know. I ain't heard of no problems over in Romania. Now, if you said Africa, because you see that everywhere. But anyway, we were called to go and we're going. So that's the cake. That's what's going on there. So I'm going to get Leo in here. I should just bring him in and let him watch this video so he can pay attention. He must have ADHD like me. I bet he does. He loves salt. Don't let the smooth taste fool you with this one. Right. Yeah, you're going to see what I mean. Anyway, I don't know if he has a girlfriend, but you single ladies, y'all might want to call your girlfriend who can't get a date and tell her, hey, I think I found somebody. His name is Leo Richard. You know what? I'm going to check my pockets. Maybe I put some scrambled eggs in here to go with these sausages.
Yeah, what's with that? How come you got sausages in your pockets?
I don't know.
Your husband's kind of like trying to check in on you, making sure.
No, those were actually, to tell the truth, I already ate mine. I make 2 for me and 2 for him. But I was outside looking at the flowers coming up.
Okay.
And he thought I didn't make them. So he made his own. I found these right before I came to get on the show. And I clearly stuck them in my pocket. So, I'll put these away for later. That's really interesting because you know what? I used to do that. All of us did. When I in foster care, like when they'd have a whole bunch of stuff made like sausages or hot dogs and stuff, and when they weren't looking, we would grab an extra one and put it in our pocket and go hide it in our room, because when they put you in there at night, you can't come out in most cases, and you do not go to the fridge and just get your own food. You better not. They have everything accounted for, so we would squirrel away food, because who doesn't get hungry in the evening?
Totally.
Right. So
I heard what the story was there. All right, I get it now.
yeah, it's like people who grew up in big families, they eat really fast for the most part, because they say you had to be the first done if you wanted seconds.
Sure.
So that sticks with you. So clearly a lot of stuff follows us. It grows right along with us. And trauma is one of those things. And in trauma can do a lot of things to a lot of things. Let's put it that way. Now, Leo, take a moment and tell people, I'm going to dip out, let you have a moment to vibe with, see, I know current lingo, young people's lingo. I want you to vibe with the audience and really just tell them what you do. And then I'll come back in and we will get started officially. How's that sound?
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
All you, take it away.
All right. Hey, everyone. My name's Leo Richard, that is. Thanks, Lauren, there. I don't know. What is it that I do? I sit here with my light and listen to Lauren do, I don't know what kind of jokes those are this morning. But anyways, as far as what I'm here for, I don't know. Lauren and I have known each other for a number of years here. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, because I was pouring coffee and I didn't want it to sound like I was peeing in the background.
Oh, why not?
Right, because somebody told me that once. Are you peeing? I was like, no, that was yesterday.
All right.
Okay, you could have laughed at that. Leo, you're a tough crowd. Keep going.
I know. You have me going in the background. All right. So for real now, what I'm doing, right now I'm pivoting into supporting men, specifically men who are looking for a way outside of the bro culture, and you want to drop nice guy syndrome. So there's a real huge movement going on around masculinity right now, and some of it's pretty nasty. It's very misogynistic, very kind of entitled, arrogant, and really rough around the edges, like super rough around the edges. And so we're in a death and rebirth part of our history in our society around masculinity. We've been pummeled for centuries and kind of lost our sense of identity. And right now we're being rebirthed into a new sense of what masculine actually means. I'm calling it the modern man. And that's what we're really up to. That's what I'm up to. It's what I'm going to be chatting about today, is what is a man these days. And so we'll dive into that. So one side we've had our balls cut off for quite a number of decades, and then you got the other side, which is like the hyper warrior side, bro culture, and it's not very attractive. It's not very healthy, and we need to find a modern man, a new vision for men. And that's probably a huge part of our issue in our world, is that men do not have any balls anymore, or if they do, they're complete a-holes.
They're completely what?
A-holes.
Oh, okay. Why am I echoing? Okay, well, let's take a look at what a little ditty that I found.
Okay.
Do you hear an echo?
No, we're good.
You guys out there, put it in the comments if you hear an echo. Or is it just, oh Lord. Anyway, I want to show you guys something real quick. Just to fill you in and to continue with what Leo was describing. A little something on bro culture.
What is a bro? White, male, jock, frat guy, econ major, Zach.
I'm Zach.
To arrive at a broader and more nuanced definition of the archetype, Broadly is conducting an ongoing anthropological study. This is Ask a Bro. For our first episode, we came to a college campus. Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, the spawning ground of bros. The bro I'm talking to today is a bro many know well. He is a ubiquitous presence on the college campus of America's imagination. Today, we're asking Acapella Bros.
Hi, Lauren. I'm Tom. I'm Teddy. Tim.
Meet Cayuga's Waiters, the oldest all-male a cappella group on campus. Nice to meet you.
All their shoes are the same.
So my first question is a general one. What is a cappella? James?
It's like a group singing where there's no instruments involved.
This is a great answer. Do you feel like being a waiter gives you a certain status on campus?
It is one of the biggest parts of Cornell tradition. I mean, we're the oldest.
Okay. So really, it was the look. And is that the bro you're talking about?
No, that is the nice guy syndrome side.
The one you're talking about is the jerk.
Yeah, well, there's a few areas where this goes on, but like you've got like the really soft men, right? On the one side, it basically could go politically left men versus politically right left, like it more on the extreme situations. Now, I'm not talking about I'm talking about like straight men right now as a rule of thumb.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Did you really just say I'm talking about straight men?
Yeah, with the bro culture.
I know gay men that are in the bro
Are you for real?
Yes. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yes. You have NFL football players. You have pro wrestlers. You have all of that.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
You have bikers. And are you kidding me? I got an invitation in email the other day to come to some big sex party with a whole bunch of bearded bikers right in a town right next to us.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a
leather daddies.
We're vibing. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Oh, that's a whole nother market for you.
Totally. That is a whole other market. Okay. So here's my experience of bro culture. Okay. What I've personally witnessed is I tend to see very I'm not talking about alpha dominance. I'm talking about like hyper dominant a-holes with the different letter A's and alpha.
You can say it.
Okay, assholes.
Yeah.
That are basically, they're like, where I'm really seeing it right now is really against anti-trans culture. There's a huge movement in social media against transgender folks. That's one area where I see a lot of bro culture coming in.
Yes.
So that's why I kind of naturally assumed that it was predominantly straight men, if you will, that kind of stuff. So,
and I'll say one other thing, just so you know.
Yeah.
There is still a lot of discrimination against the trans community from within the LGBT community. Stonewall back in the 60s was because of the trans community saying we're tired of being called, transvestites and that sort of thing. Yeah, it still exists today.
Okay. All right. I learned something today. Okay. I got to wrap my head around this bit. Okay. But anyway, so it's like basically it's like you have these role models that they call themselves alpha males, right? And that are basically spearheading a movement for young men to basically be entitled, be arrogant, rather than confident, rather than have a healthy, clean, ethical work ethic, if you will. And it's inspiring this huge movement of men. And it's because basically, in my opinion, boys are lost. They have no idea what it means to be a man anymore. They really don't. And just on a simple masculine, feminine energy level, masculine energy is basically like a container, if you will. It's grounded. It's really simple, keeps things in check. Feminine energy is very creative, very chaotic, very wild. And then so when you have the two together, you actually have a really good balance because you have a container. And this can be regardless of what gender you have, but you have a really good container for creative energy when you have healthy masculine energy all together. And that's really the dynamic of masculine is to create basically a fun, safe zone. That's healthy masculine energy. And if you've got war and the images of what male is very destructive, very lethal, very, not very much creative energy in terms of making the world a better place. It's typically very destructive. And bro culture is very destructive to a lot of different cultures. It's very entitled about their culture rather than, holding space for other cultures to exist.
Okay, let me ask you something.
Sure.
Have you ever seen that show? It was from years gone by, not, but people still watch it on Netflix and stuff, called Mad Men.
No, I haven't seen it.
It's based on the 60s, and it's all around an advertising firm, and all of the men, smoke around the table and this, that, and the other, and the women have to vacuum in high heels and this, that, and the other, and they go out to see their girlfriends and tell them I'll be home when I get home and all this kind of stuff. And so that was kind of a bro culture for that time frame. How we grew out of that momentarily, clearly. What is the scariest part of, because we're going to get into what you're doing to help reverse this syndrome, if you will. If you were to jump ahead to 20 years from now and this goes untapped, unconfronted, what do you think it would look like? What kind of guys, what kind of men, what kind of dads, what kind of husbands, boyfriends, leaders would we see walking around the world?
I don't think we'd have a world in 20 years. I think we'd blow each other up by then.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you can look at it right now in the world. For example, I'm not picking political sides here, but look at the Ukraine. So when Russia, in the more recent invasion in the Ukraine, like a year and a half ago, what have you, all the people that came together to decide about what to do with it, they all met in Switzerland, probably Geneva, I can't remember where it is, but there was a picture that came out of all the people who were deciding on what to do. They were all older white men, balding white men that were deciding on the future of Europe and what to do about Russia. There was no women, there was no younger men, there was no this, there's no, it was just like older white men deciding what was going to happen. Now, if you look around the world, predominantly the countries that are like, there's in Taiwan, for example, is another like thing that's happening this week. You've got an American president, which is a man. You've got Chinese president, which is a man, and then you got Taiwanese. I don't know if it's prime minister there or what have you, but there's a female there. But it's predominantly like men who are like just trying to figure out their position in the world and politics. It's all men fighting with each other. It's like unchecked masculine energy that's going on in the world.
Been that way.
Yeah, it's been that way this whole last century with World War I, World War II. And then there's something serious that's about to kind of go on. Like Warren Buffett is like a huge investor. He just yanked out billions of dollars yesterday, the day before, out of semiconductors in Taiwan. Like, he knows something's up, right? And then they're betting against it as well. Some other investors in the US are betting against it. So they're expecting something huge to happen in Taiwan pretty soon. But if we don't do something, get the masculine energy in check, and I'm not talking about the feminist kind of 1960s, 70s, get masculine energy in check. I'm talking about like this destructive energy in check. I don't know. I don't think we've got much longer to be.
Well, it sounds like this is like, the father of bro energy. There's been many of them, but let's just take Hitler. That was kind of, the same thing. It is a frequency, it really is. Let me ask you about this position.
Mm-hmm.
So we would expect women to, what is this? Da, 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 da. We're not going to take it. Boom, boom, boom.
Sure.
And kind of have seen some of that with the Me Too and Time's Up and all of that, with women speaking up about their rights, and we're sick of this shit. But for you, in your own genre, your own, world as a male, aren't you afraid of being looked at as a whistleblower, a turncoat, a Benedict Arnold?
I'm not the only one who's speaking out or who like really jives at this, because like, here's the thing, like men have been really cut off from masculine information for centuries, right? So men went to the factories, they left their kids at home, raised by the moms typically, or other siblings, usually large families. And then as we got into the 20th century, you got the world wars, men left the house again, and it was this constant like where men were always leaving the home, whereas they were always at the farm before, hanging out with their sons and stuff like that. And then you had the feminist movement, which basically said that we're equal, which is cool. But they also said we're the same, which is not. Men and women are incredibly different, and we don't need you. And so men haven't really had a place in society for like 5 decades or so, 6 decades now. And we're not connected to our fathers, and the information's been disconnected for a few centuries now. And we're coming into like a modern age where masculine culture is starting to come back and fight against the feminist culture that's come in. And I'm not, against women by any means. I think everybody needs equal rights. Like everybody is, in my opinion, should have the fair amount of self-expression as they want to have in this world, whatever that looks like.
Agreed.
And that kind of aspect. But the masculine, because the toxic masculine energy that I'm seeing tends to want to be right front of the camera in terms of like the visibility, and that's the role model that's getting set in the world. So everybody thinks because it's on social media everywhere, or this is what masculine looks like, that's what it should be, and it's not. And then you got the movies and like Hollywood that are pushing, like, I'm not saying be a wimp or not be a warrior or anything like that, but they're the main focus is on the warrior side of the masculine energy. Nobody's focusing on the other core aspects of what healthy masculine energy is. It's all about being a tough guy, or it's really just turned into like an entitlement kind of thing.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show a little clip because I knew we were going to get to this juncture. And a lot of people right now are most likely sitting there going, okay, I get it. You stupid men. Men. You got to get it together, guys. But there's also a little thing called as codependency. And there's also a thing known as what we expect. And what we accept, and double standards. Take a look at this, and then we're going to talk about how all this ties in and how what you're about to see may have played this attitude, this mindset, how it may have played a big piece in what we're dealing with right now as far as what Leo is talking about here. Take a look at this one.
My back, all my legs, still not, and I ended up in hospital because she won't let me out of the house.
It's not funny though. Can I tell you why it's not funny? If this was the other way around and a woman was sat here and a bloke had locked her in a flat and she had to jump out and injured herself, you lot would not be laughing. Somehow, if it happens to a bloke, that's funny. That's not funny, is it? That isn't.
It all started when the government replaced the father. The father role in the family has been killed off, which means the biggest purpose in our lives has been destroyed. Marriage, divorce, and childcare laws are blatantly sexist. You are not needed anymore. The average marriage lasts 11 years, and then through the divorce, you will get the kids and the finances. Why would she stay in a relationship with little to no benefit, but with extra responsibility? Young men have been raised with no father figure, or a father who wasn't around due to overworking long hours in the capitalistic, materialistic society that we live in. And so we look for father figures elsewhere, from the media, from society, from our female teachers in school, and all of them lied to us. They fed us a script that doesn't work. They set us up with a trajectory to fail. Just be yourself, but you're actually a loser, and we want you to stay a loser because that's more profitable. Men should embrace their feminine side, but we'll lose attraction to you if you do. Treat her like a princess, like a queen, but we won't treat you like a king. Stop trying to be masculine, but no woman's gonna have sex with you if you do. Everyone in society has made it so clear to you to not sexualize women. Guess who the women are dating and sleeping with? The men who sexualize them. The ultimate shit test of the modern world was to make all men blue-pilled and scared of their masculinity. When you are this normal blue-pilled guy, you get such little attraction from women because you've ultimately lost your masculine frame. Most important part of our frame is that we are men. We are masculine. We are supposed to be the strong, stoic leader. And listening to society takes that away from you. And by listening to society's lies, you ultimately lost frame, and now you're ugly to women. Then the asshole jerk gets the women that you feel you deserve. And then something happens. You rip the script. You begin to do the opposite of everything society has advised you. And so women naturally gravitate towards you. You close more deals in your business than ever before. Your confidence skyrockets. It's obvious. The conventional advice was all one big shit test, and any man who crumbled to that test lost his frame. The only men who naturally overcame this test were those who had a strong male role model in their lives. And so I thank you.
So that was a mouthful.
Sure.
And he all roads led to your description of the bro. who comes in, right? So talk about what you just saw. How does that resonate or not with what you believe?
Okay, so his points are accurate. Okay, so but the energy in it is, so there's a few things. There's typically 4 agreed upon archetypes for masculinity. So you got 4. So you got the lover, magician, king, and warrior. Okay, those are like the kind of 4 kind of typically agreed upon. The left side, you got the lover and the magician. On the right side of the bro culture, you've got the king and the warrior. Okay, and you've got this split between the two. So you got the lover and the magician, which is really soft, and you got the king and the warrior, which is really hard, if you will. And so the king, the warrior gets you what you want because it's a very action-oriented energy. Whereas the lover and the magician is very soft and receptive kind of level of energy. You don't get what you want because you're always being the lover, and I call it the healer schmuck when it's unhealthy, and that kind of stuff. So you need to have an integrated 4 aspects. And those, in terms of, I'm just generalizing here just to give something for the audience here, but like you need to have those 4 archetypes integrated. You need to be able to get shit done, and you need to be able to have your container so that you can be a human being rather than being an asshole. And so it's like just basically being human, being a good human, but taking actions to protect your ground in your life so that you're not losing your sense of goodness, if you will. Does that make sense?
Complete.
Okay. Yeah. So bro culture is completely missing out the human side of it. Okay. From my opinion, it's very like I saw there's I think it was Pornhub or OnlyFans or something like that. That's like there's like this all these types of things like what you should reject, what you reject. And like, so that was the only thing that he really kind of rejected, or being like the soft, or what did he call the blue pill? Reject everything that's blue pill, which is like soft, like gentleman, right? Like, let's use the word gentleman. That is a frame of a masculine energy.
Or genteel.
Genteel. Sure. All right, fair enough.
You know, because you're like, that means that you're, you know, you're respectful and, you know, right. All those things that make the perfect gentleman.
Yeah, totally. And so if you got that like aspect to you, that is healthy masculine energy, right?
But it's presented like it's a weakness now.
To a lot of people, yeah. And well, you've got, so masculinity isn't the only side that's in danger. Like the feminine energy is also in danger. Feminine, they're losing their space as well, right? So, and I can't really talk to that per se because just I have a male body, but I can't, and I know enough about it with clients I've had over the years and stuff like that. But like, what is the female identity these days, right? So if you go into like, just loosely saying, for those in female bodies, where they struggle the most is body image. For those male bodies, where they struggle the most is confidence. So if you poke at a man's weakness around confidence, maybe it's about money or this or that, then you can literally kill a man. And for women, it's you can poke at the body image. And so in media really pushes the levers on these to like control marketing and sales and that kind of stuff. And so what bro culture has turned is confidence into arrogance. Okay. And so you can say the same words, but it's the energy behind it. Okay. So in any of those types of things, and so it's really important to kind of get a sense of like, what is the energy behind the situation? What are the actions that are following by what a person is saying? What is their direction? What is their goal? What's their vision? What's their, all that kind of stuff. You can figure out a lot about their energy rather than just the words. Because everybody knows people can give a good talk, but not actually have the actions behind it, right? Or the behind it, right?
Right.
So that's really the important thing. And so, but yeah, so the female identity is also in crisis. Like that's why there's such a huge uproar in, there's the red pill people as well, men also arguing with the transgender stuff, but like female, like I can't fathom to understand this. Like I can't, because I'm not transgender, but I have full belief that everybody should have self-expression. Absolutely. But I don't understand how, I just found this out a few days ago, that Tampax, which is a female body product, how transgender go from male to female, why they would be a spokesperson for Tampax. I don't understand. Like I'm trying to understand where the logic is with that. And I think I can understand why there was so much backlash years ago with the Tampax kind of situation. But that's for me, if I was in a female body, that would be insulting to me. But I'm not a female body, so I can't say with certainty that it would be. But it is. But I don't understand the logic. Is it just pushing boundaries? Is it for artistry? Is it? I don't know if I can really wrap my head around it because I'm not female or transgender. So it's like an interesting. But like the female identity, what is the female identity, right? And so you got Hollywood has this like certain pictures about what that ought to look like. And the same thing with the masculine side of things. And so it creates more division around masculine and feminine in our society with a lot of the stuff that's going on. Like you got the left and right wing polarization, and then within each, the left and right wing, you got the polarization of genders going on.
So okay, based on what you just said, and trying to figure out where this is coming from, why it's here, and where is it headed.
Sure.
Let's take the imagery that this guy showed in that last clip when he got to we are men, we are strong, we're this, those pictures were all like Hercules, this, that, and the other, but we don't all look like that.
Correct.
Granted, of course, I'm close to looking like that, but I mean, I'm just kidding. But I mean, I do hit the gym 5 days a week, and I look around and we judge ourselves, we sum up each other, this, that, and the other, and there is a different gait to my walk when, everything is tight and boom and bah. I feel more confident on the beach and different things like that. But what about the guy who does not fit that look that like he threw up on the screen? Where does his masculinity get a chance to have a voice?
Sure.
Other than just muscles and serration, striation of ripping and all that.
Intelligence and intellect. Absolutely.
How come that wasn't represented? There was no image for that.
Exactly. That's part of the whole thing, right? It's like, it has to look a certain mold to be a man. That's the message that's being pushed, right? There, you've got, loosely dubbed, you've got 4 aspects of yourself. You got your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, right? And so where's your physical health? Obviously, you need to take good
and sexual.
Yeah, sexual health. There's
sexual drives everything. Everything.
Sure.
It is, even when you leave your house. Most people have a mirror somewhere in the foyer so they can do that last little. Every time you pick something, it's tied into emphasize. Just like at the gym, you can have a guy with a big ass pot belly, but if he's got some big ass thighs or some arms or shoulders, I guarantee you, whatever he's wearing, it's been clipped to accentuate those vanity areas as if we don't see that big ass pot belly.
Right.
Because I'm gonna use whatever. If she likes shoulders, come and get some, girl or boy. You know what I'm saying? So I just had to throw that in.
Yeah. And so there's a dialogue going on, or like a monologue to like push it a certain way. And it's just the natural immune system, if you will. If you think of your physical health, you got an immune system fighting viruses and bacteria and whatever. So psychologically, there is an immune system, just to use that analogy, to counter the effects. And it's trying to fight against the attacks against masculinity. And so sometimes, like in cancer, like the immune system attacks itself. Right. And so there's an aspect of like that also exists in psychology as well. Like, so there's an aspect, but like, why doesn't the intellect, the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual health, like there's an aspect of like, sure, there's certain women that like the bad guy, right? Based on those images that were there, like,
and are drawn to it. Yes.
Drawn to it. Why? Right. For example. And so where like the feminine identity is also being destroyed at the same time. Right. And in the past, it's really, I don't need men, we're better, like it's like we don't need you, and it's like we're independent. So there's like this hyper independence kind of dynamic where we're segregated from each other that's going on between masculine and feminine. Within even the subcultures, there's a lot of like destruction of culture that's going on. And then you've got this culture that's trying to fix it in a certain way, the immune system that's like trying to deal with the cancer, if you will, and that's like eating itself up, and it's being pushed by, there's lots of conspiracy theories about this, but it's being pushed by like various narratives, whoever's got the loudest voice and that kind of stuff, to like control a population. And like, whether it's, a certain group or tribe, or whether it's media or whatever, there's a different narrative that's being pushed in different directions to try to control how people think about the subject. And obviously, like, masculinity historically is like a certain outlook, right? If you go back to Greek times, it's like more of the heroic look of what's kind of lasted. If you go back to these days, it's sort of like the business warrior starting to exist, right? But there's a few things.
Now, this whole situation
Sure.
appears, at least in my world, which all of you are just visiting, by the way, like a giant apple, and you have a tiny little microscopic mouth trying to bite away at this giant apple. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I want to get into this program you have that when I looked through it, it felt to me like, okay, here's an opportunity to take a male, as if, take the cookie or the loaf of bread, if you will, the dough that's been baked, reshape it, put it back into its original form, plop it down, knead it out, and rebake it into something better, something stronger, something more productive. We're going to talk about how you intend to do that with this new program of yours. And then I also want to go in the first clip we saw, or the last clip actually, about Jeff Bezos. He was in there, and he is, of course, a very high-powered male. Now, your program is not really designed for the boys we saw on the Cornell campus, no, but more so for the high-powered guy that fits in that category, like a Jeff Bezos, or headed towards that place. So we're going to talk about how you came up with this, what you intend to do with it, and a lot more when we return. As we go to break today, I'm going to just remind you guys, because, through all the fun and the inspiration that we find in the conversation today, nonetheless, we are still 3 weeks away from Romania. And I just want you guys to go over to the GoFundMe. This is all on us, the people, as most things that matter in this universe are. So I want you to take a look at who we've partnered with, Hope for Kids, and why we chose to go. Another big apple that needs at least a little piece of a bite taken out of it. Here we go. We'll be right back. Don't you go away.
Acolo a fost personalul de serviciu care ți-a jurat o blestematul ăsta și ți-a furat mâncarea. Unde? La Deca, la Sfântul Nicolae. Să nu fie toate numai pentru bani. Acum deja numai pentru bani. Că toți donațiile și astea, și donațiile primesc copiii, nu? Da. Primesc copii. Donațiile se pune în
The purpose of this documentary is to raise a universal alarm on the extreme poverty levels in which families and over 41.5% of Romanian children live in. Some children go to bed without eating. Some eat every 2 days. 8 in 10 Romanian children in orphanages are not even orphans. The extreme poverty levels of their families forces the parents to abandon their children, either in an orphanage, a placement center, or with a family member, so they can go abroad and work. Even more alarming than the raising poverty levels in Romania are its ramifications: neglect, child abuse, child labor, rape, trafficking, school abandonment, children ending up in the system, in prison, or even worse, dead. Now imagine a world in which all children can grow up in a loving family with proper food, access to education, sexual education, access to proper mental health and physical health, access to integration programs. Imagine these children having the same chance in life as our children. Let's be family to these children, all of us, together. Let's be the answer to the end of poverty and social exclusion. Join our forces and help us build a better world in which families and children of Romania flourish.
Lord have mercy. Okay, starting again. Welcome back. And you've seen just a little peek inside of what we're going to Romania to do, why we're going. And I want to say hats off to the 11 coaching clients of mine that will be coming with me to pour into everything that needs it over there and to bring back, hopefully, just a little thimbleful of what we need here in the USA and all the places that the rock stars are coming from, because they're coming from 3 different countries. So please pray for us. And if you can donate, follow your heart and go in. Anything helps. This is a modern day Stone Soup story. And whatever you have, we need it. So thank you for that. Leo, come on back in. Before we went to break, I mentioned the Jeff Bezos thing. Now, as I was in the break, I was thinking, well, wait a minute. It could be those bro guys that we saw. That could be your ideal client, high-powered men, because nowadays young people are making more and more money earlier and earlier in life. So doesn't mean it's like in the old days where it takes 30 years to get to that point, which could be why this is even more important. These guys are getting, yeah, right. So talk about this and tell everybody about the program.
Sure. All right. I'll circle back to that. I think I want to talk about the Romania piece. I think that's really cool, and I understand why that's so
thank you
at home to you with the foster systems and what you grew up with and all that kind of stuff. Like I was adopted at birth, not through the foster system from family to family to family, but like I had the same family growing up and all that kind of stuff. So I get a lot of the psychology that can happen with that kind of stuff. And I had friends in the foster system. It can be pretty brutal. And in a country with like minimal funding, right?
Yes.
Like it's pretty, it's back to like, I think they see even still in Russia, but like Russia, like I read the stories about Russian hospitals or children's hospitals or whatever. And like, it can be pretty
brutal.
Yeah. That kind of stuff. So,
yeah. I'm just going to tell you, I've literally spoken with kids. I have pages and pages of interviews to prep myself before I even started reaching into my coaching clients to ask if they wanted to be a part of this. And these stories were absolutely soul breaking, not heartbreaking, but soul breaking, broke my spirit for a split second, but also bolstered me in a way I didn't even know was possible. So that's why I chose to go. Yeah. So thank you for mentioning that. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so there was a comment there, but from Robert Brooker there. which is interesting. But like, I want to address that particular piece, and it might be useful around what's happening in Romania. But this is like systemic issues. So there's a term I kind of coined called feudal capitalism, and so feudal capitalism is like the essence of like you can have economic like freedom, so to speak, but or the illusion of it that people can make all this money and grow economically, this kind of stuff. But it's still in feudalism is controlled by very few people. So when we go back to like kings and lords and people were peasants and they rented land from the lords to like farm and they paid it back through that kind of stuff, right? And so there's an aspect of like we're trapped in a feudal capitalistic society. I'm not against capitalism. I'm against the feudalistic kind of side of it, where just a few people kind of control the levers in the world, and so which gives the illusion that the commoners, if you will, so to speak, based on the kings and lords analogies, and thrive and all that kind of stuff. But there's a systemic issue that's going on that's pretty massive, and I think that's impacting other countries in the world. Like Romania is one of the peasants, if you will, in terms of like that analogy. And so what do they do to get out of it, right? They gotta pay their lords, like their debt. Like Africa's got tons of debt. They're like, it's just ridiculous. Like
you're so right. If I didn't have an on the ground team there of Romanian descent putting the pieces together like behind the scenes without mentioning it's really us, it would have been a totally different build out for this trip. From booking the hotels to everything. We had to find it and then tell them, now go pay for it. Put it under your name kind of thing. Because of a lot of corruption. There's not very much in between space over there. You're either here or non-existent.
Totally. Okay. So just wanted to address the comment there, but back to the dynamic here with our men's program and stuff like that. So a lot of men are suffering in silence. Okay, and that's the kind of core issue. Even if they've got huge levels of success, they got the, I'm using pictures here like trophy wives and that kind of stuff. There's an aspect of like their inner world is crushed. And so they're only, for men, and as a rule in our society, their only form of validation is how well they're doing economically, their amount of power around the economy. And that's where they get their sense of validation. They don't get a sense of validation about who they are. They don't get a sense of validation about their interests in life, their hobbies, maybe sometimes their hobbies, but a little bit less on that level. And so men tend to, their inner world tends to be really damaged. We've been disconnected from male information for centuries. And so that's the like core issue. I don't really like, in terms of my clients, I do care about who they are, obviously, but like, I don't really care who they are in another sense, because if they're willing to do the inner work on themselves to get to that level of like power, healthy masculine power, it does take inner work, but it can't just all be in a monetary financial gain sense. It's got to be with your relationships with your kids. It's got to be with your relationships with your spouse. It's got to be how you're holding yourself in the world. It's got to be, and that all comes from your emotional nature, your mental nature, and your spiritual nature as well, which is being deeply neglected in our society. And so, for example, like suicide is, I think it's 3-to-1 where men are more likely to kill themselves than a woman or something like that. Some ridiculous number like that. And it's because men have nowhere to go. Like everything, if we talk about it, it's taboo, or you're not man enough, or all this kind of stuff. And, point being, if you're suffering a lot and you're still living a life, you're man enough. You're dealing with it. Like you're somehow keeping it together. You've got that level of like wherewithal where you can keep your shit together.
Let me tell you something. What I love about what you're doing, because you're changing the narrative along with a whole bunch of other lanes. I see it. It's crystal clear to me, even as a gay man. It is crystal clear to me. And I'm going to tell you why. Because forever, whenever you hear the term midlife crisis, it always points to a man. Because that's when he goes and buys the sports car. That's when he leaves his wife for the girlfriend, for the trophy wife, for all those things to kind of catch up. So that he can be on that same playing field with all of those that he's been stargazing. And it's a real thing, and it's a real issue. It's not just a thing, it's an issue. So how do you, let's wrap with this. Why are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And how are you going to do it? You already have some clients doing this.
Sure.
And what do they give us a couple examples of what they're discovering about themselves through this process with you?
Okay, so the biggest thing that I'm learning so far is a level of stress that men are under, and like emotional, psychological, spiritual stress, not necessarily physical stress. The male body typically can handle higher levels of stress than the female body, as a rule of thumb. I'm not trying to like insult women here. It's just kind of typically the case, just because of the hormone testosterone can deal with stress better. And so but the stress levels, men don't know how to internalize it well, or like run it through their system in a healthy way. So it builds up an emotional, mental, spiritual capacity, and really impacts on them, really kind of goes on them on that level. So what I teach people is how to decompress that stress. So if you have a lot of stress, then you're going to have heightened cortisol. You're going to make bad decisions. You're going to create all sorts of problems for yourself in your relationships. And so men tend to be fixers. They tend to it's one of the biggest complaints of women. I just want a man to hold space for me rather than try to fix me, and that kind of stuff, for example, right? And so they tend to try to fix stuff. And so what we need to do is actually sit with stuff, which is having silence. And so when you have a sense of silence, you can actually listen to yourself. So joked at me about my ADHD. There's a joke when I was a kid that,
hey, you have it too?
Well, kind of. I think maybe that's why I taught myself meditation.
It's my superpower. I don't care what they say. It is. It's my superpower. I couldn't live without it.
Good. And so the teachers made fun of me when I was a kid in high school about how long I could sit still. My record was 3.5 seconds. But anyways, back to why I'm doing this. I don't get rambled too much. Anyway, so why am I doing this? I've went through hell and back as a man for a number of reasons. I've got a personal situation that's been going on for a few years with my daughter and her mom and stuff like that. I went through a life overhaul about 8-9 years ago, walked away from everything, 2 successful companies, 13-year relationship, a decade I spent the life building out. And I just something was completely off within me and I couldn't quite figure it out. Teaching people how to live authentic lives and whatever. And I was like, something's off with me. So I ended up resetting and overhauling my entire life. Started with $412 in my pocket and built out my life again. And what I found out was missing was my integrity. And so that's one of the key things in a masculine psyche that's really missing is integrity. And I'm not talking about business integrity. I'm talking about their inner world integrity with their external world. So that could be in business, that could be in relationships and this and that. And so where do you find that level of integrity that is holistic, not just very linear and focused on money or making money or the economy? And that's one of the things that's really missing out in the masculine world is that level of integrity, deep, holistic integrity. Now, another reason why I'm doing this, and I have a personal bent towards world peace. So I've kind of been at the center circle of 2 major global movements, all sorts of things. And I want to see the world change. And I've tried all these meditations to bring people together. I've had 250,000 people meditating together. And the numbers are probably actually higher than that. But there's an aspect of the economy makes things move. And there's a lot of men in different positions that have influence, but they don't necessarily use it to change the world for the better, if you will. And it's because they're not really connected with their inner selves. They're focused on the money, the value, the homes, the cars, the wife, whatever, that kind of stuff. And with men in different positions of influence, there's an aspect of you can change the world radically very fast when men start doing the inner work on themselves, not in a feminine way, whereas most meditation teachers, self-help people, as a rule of thumb, have been women teaching it over the years. And then you've got the rah other side, which can be masculine, which is very, again, part of the bro culture kind of aspect. It's teaching men that you've got to be a warrior, which is cool. But where's all the other aspects of the masculine side?
Right.
That needs to come in. The lover side, for example, giving a fuck about the world, right? Rather than just yourself and that kind of stuff. And
right. Exactly. Now I want to tell everybody, we got just a few seconds left. Actually putting together a 90-minute TV special. with Leo because there's just so much to unpack here, and also a Q&A at the end. It'll be a full 2 hours, and we're going to let you know about that as we build it out. Definitely, you need to show up and show out with that one. On the screen, you see up above and tickering along the bottom, where you can continue the dialogue, check into the program. But of course, I'm going to heavily promote the television special so that you can come and really dig in. This is big work. And Leo, I just want you to know I see you and I see what you're doing. And I think you're the first. I really do. I think you're the first person to attack this in the way that you're attacking it. That's what I've been shown. So listen, you guys keep your ears on because something big is coming. I'll tell you that. I just, in closing, just want to say, I feel something about this bro culture, the top surface, the transparency that's laid over the top for us to see as an audience looking at it. It's all in that cute, like with the guys in all the same shoes and stuff at Cornell. But deep down inside my spirit, I feel that this is more of a cult-like kind of thing moving, and it's dangerous.
Yeah, I'll address one thing just to give a bit of language. There's a group think. And one of the key ingredients of men is they think for themselves, right? A healthy man can think for themselves for all across the political spectrum or all the creative expressions out there in the world. They think for themselves. And with bro culture, there's group think. Everybody thinks the same. They all dress the same. They all act the same.
Isn't that what a cult does?
That is the definition of a cult.
Okay. See, I didn't even know that, but I felt that. I'm not the brightest light bulb, but I'll tell you what.
I don't know. You got a pretty bright light there.
Well, thank you for that. That's that impossible. Get out of here. And but doesn't matter when you are within integrity. You're going to be taught in real time. You're going to hear. I heard culture, bro culture, and I heard cult like. I felt it deep within my spirit. That's what happens when we have illuminated conversations, and this is one that needs to be had. So keep your ears on, like I said. Leo, thank you so much, as always. Wow, powerful, truly powerful. Listen, you guys, I'll see you tomorrow, God willing, out front. My guest tomorrow, let me just flip over, is, tomorrow's Meet the Experts. All the experts will be here tomorrow, 7 in total. This is going to be one humdinger of a show. Don't you dare miss it. Leo, thank you so much. And we're going to get you back quite a few more times, I have a feeling. Keep your eyes on this one, you guys. Keep your eyes on. I'll see you tomorrow.
Having me on your stage, Slur.
Of course. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Get out of here. Have a great day. And remember, in closing, as always, I tell you, I love you. I love you. There ain't a damn thing you can do about it. So how do you like that? Have a great day. See you tomorrow.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you